I just came to Walmart and this is what happened. So I see a car coming out of his parking spot. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go in there. But then I see a car coming out, so I'm like, okay, let me move out of their way a little bit so I don't get hit. While that's happening, a car in the back behind me gets up real close and doesn't let me back up into my parking spot. I'm like, hey, yo, beep, beep, I'm trying to get into this parking spot. And they won't move. And then this amazing homeless man passes by and he's like, hey, she's trying to get into the parking lot. They gonna tell him, we saw that parking spot first, so we ain't gonna move. How? You was in the back. I was like, oh, you wanna be petty? I would literally sit here and Uber Eats my groceries before I move. But then he reminded me of what Jesus would do, so I was like, I wanted to be petty so bad.
In high school, this really sweet guy gave me a fortune cookie when we were standing in the high school parking lot, and I opened it up, and there was a fortune in it that said, will you go to homecoming with me? And I said, I really wish I could go to homecoming with you, but I already have a date with Nathan on the night of homecoming. We're not going to homecoming, but it's like an anti-homecoming type date. I'm really sorry. And I suspect that he knew that I was lying, but we both pretended like I was being honest, and then he walked away, and I continued to munch on the delicious cookie, and I walked over to Nathan, who was standing by his car, and I said, just so you know, I just told him that you and I are going on a date on the Saturday of homecoming, so we need to plan a date. And he was just a really good friend of mine, and he looked at me for a second, and then he smacked the cookie out of my hand, and I was like, why would you do that? And he was like, I will hang out with you on Saturday, but I will not let you enjoy another man's cookie after you just destroyed his soul and rejected his homecoming proposal.
I almost died today. I was trying to be a responsible mother to go pick up my daughter early from school because apparently there's going to be snow, sleet, and hail. And I wanted to leave before everything got frozen because I didn't live in an igloo in Antarctica. So I don't know how to drive in this ice. So here I am taking all the precautions necessary. I put my jacket on, put my hoodie on, I put my gloves on. While I'm about to walk down the steps of my home and boom, my legs are up here. I never knew I was that flexible. I cut my leg, pulled the hamstring and my elbow. At this point, I probably need a tetanus shot. Texas weather is so ghetto.
I was at Kentucky Fried Chicken the other night, and they had no chicken. Technically, I got the last of the chicken in my order before all the other customers went completely feral. And I felt so bad for the employees because when I worked in food service back in high school, customers could get pretty abusive. But now it's gotten so much worse that I feel like every time I go into a restaurant, there's some kind of a sign up that says something to the effect of like, attention, valued but rude customers. Due to a global pandemic, we are experiencing a shortage of both humans and rations at this time. If we are unable to meet your needs today, please refrain from murdering, emotionally maiming, or traumatizing any of the employees who have not yet quit this hellhole job that is serving you. Thank you. And this poor girl at KFC was telling everybody, I'm sorry, we're out of chicken. And people were responding to her as if what she was really saying was, I'm sorry, we're out of chicken because I ate it all already. People were demanding evidence like they thought they were in some kind of weird chicken-related prank. One lady said, I want to speak to your manager. And I just thought, what is the 22-year-old KFC manager gonna do? He's not in charge of the chicken supply chain. But this girl told Karen, we're out of chicken. And Karen said, I want to speak to your manager. And the girl was like, okay. And the manager came over and Karen said, you're all out of chicken. And the manager went, yup. And Karen just went, this is ridiculous, and left. And I was like, what is the point? What was the point of that interaction? Why did she need that? I understand being excited that you're going to get your food or you're going to get a special treat and then not getting it and feeling disappointed, okay? I've been there. One time I was having a rough day and I went to McDonald's to get an ice cream cone and I paid for it and I got up to the window and instead of handing me an ice cream cone, the lady handed me vanilla flavored frozen yogurt on a cone, which is unacceptable. But I didn't yell at her. I just cried in my car and then took an impromptu 14-hour road trip to another state, both of which are more acceptable responses than yelling at a customer service employee who has no control over the amount of cream in my dessert. People were getting so upset that they couldn't have chicken that as I was walking out with my bag of chicken, I was looking around in the dark like, I hope nobody mugs me for my chicken, which sounds like a crazy thought, but it was a genuine thought because crazier things have happened in the last few years than someone getting mugged over chicken. Like, it could happen.
Am I wrong for ruining my work colleague's wedding and getting them arrested? The title sounds bad, but hear me out. I, 38 female, had two work colleagues, Mary and Adam, both in their late 20s, early 30s. Mary started in the company first and then she got Adam to join. They worked in different departments and Mary was in mine. Later, Mary left the company to pursue another career. When they started at the company, they were already married for a few years. Now, Mary is the kindest and loveliest person I've ever met. She was always polite, helpful, and would cheer anyone up. So it came to a shock when we found out that she is divorcing Adam because he has cheated on her. I had called to express how sorry I am that this has happened to her, and we've been talking daily ever since. I was impressed how well Mary holds herself in such a situation. She wouldn't badmouth Adam, and the only thing she mentioned was how her wedding dress and a few family heirlooms went missing when she was moving her stuff from their apartment. She thought they might be misplaced in a different box and will turn up eventually. A few years passed. I now work in the same department as Adam. He is a good work colleague but can be dismissive and ignorant sometimes. Adam invited me to his wedding with the lady, Chelsea, he cheated on Mary with. As the entire department was invited, I said yes, making sure Mary was okay with this. I've also told her where the wedding will be because it's not too far from where she lives and we can go grab some drinks after if she wanted to. On the day of Adam's wedding, I had noticed that Chelsea was wearing a similar dress that Mary had worn in the photos of her and Adam's wedding years ago. So without thinking, I had snapped a picture and I sent it to Mary with the caption saying, "Doesn't this dress look familiar?" Mary saw the message but didn't respond, and about an hour later the police showed up at the venue. I need to add that the police in our country is ruthless and any theft is considered a criminal matter for the police to deal with. Police had asked Chelsea to take the dress and all the jewelry off. Chelsea refused and started arguing with them, and then Adam joined in. Everyone at the wedding had to leave. I had tried to call Mary, but she wouldn't pick up the phone. As we found out later, Chelsea was wearing Mary's wedding dress and her heirlooms. Mary spotted them on her in the picture I sent her and called the police. Apparently, she had previously asked Adam if he had them, and he declined, saying he never saw them. So, after she saw the picture, she knew he was lying and stole them. Chelsea had to leave the wedding dress and jewelry at the police station and go home wearing her underwear and Adam's jacket after they were bailed out. Yesterday, Adam returned to the office and went completely mental at me, blaming me for sending a picture to Mary and ruining his wedding.
My little sister asked me on the phone the other night what I want to do with my life, and I said, I don't know. What do you want to do with your life? And she said, well, you know how there are always those old ladies who are super wise and well-traveled and adventurous and cool? That's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a cool old lady. So many people are thinking about who they want to be 10 years from now and who they want to be in the middle of their life, when really they should be thinking about who they want to be at the end of their life. And I said, well, that is very thoughtful and Gen Z of you. And she said, what kind of old lady do you want to be? And I said, oh, I already know. I want to live in a mansion with all of my dogs, and I'm going to throw parties for everybody. And she said, okay, perfect. You be the person who hosts parties, and I'll be the one who shows up and makes them fun. And I said, excuse me? And she said, you literally just told me you want to be Cruella de Vil when you grow up, except with Belgian Malinois. Everyone's going to be too scared to come to your parties. And I said, no, I don't just want to have Belgian Malinois in my life. I'm going to have a rescue beagle and a Dalmatian. And she said, yeah, Dalmatian, okay.